Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chris's Chaos. I am your host, Chris Cortez. Today, we are going to do a little review for this past Friday night SmackDown, held on June 19th, 2026, in Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm going to go ahead and cover specifically the WWE Championship match between Gunther and Cody Rhodes, with special guest referee Sami Zayn. That was the match that I really was most invested in. And then I want to perhaps cover a little bit of predictions for Monday Night Raw. I'll tell you right off the bat, there's not much to cover for Monday Night Raw. It's a go-home show. It's going to take place in London, and there's only like a couple matches even posted right now. So just based on looking at what's coming, it's not going to be that great of a show. Meanwhile, SmackDown next Friday will be pre-recorded. So again, they don't really invest in their go-home shows like they used to, let alone their day afters. You know, it's not that good. So let's jump right into this match. The first match of the night, too, was the WWE Championship match. So I was definitely ready to go and watch this. And they start the match off really well with technical chain wrestling and a lot of strike exchanges. I keep saying it. I said it with the last match. Cody Rhodes and Gunther, they know how to put on a match. They know how to tell a story in the ring. They're both excellent, and they work well together. The outcomes of these matches have been, questionable to say the least. But when they're in the ring, it's entertaining. This match included no commercial breaks, which, my God, WWE needs to keep doing that. Maybe make some deals with Netflix and USA or whoever to, do something where the first match or the first 30 minutes are not with commercials. They are commercial free. It makes it a hell of a lot more energetic. Definitely just makes the whole show that much better. And whether or not you like this match, the outcome, or whatever, you cannot deny that the first 30 minutes of this show was definitely one of the most energetic starts to a SmackDown or a Raw or whatever that we've seen in many years. So that alone was a good thing for this show. I got to say, the Kansas City crowd was not that good. Okay, they are very vanilla, is I guess the way to describe it. They didn't seem that invested. They were, if they booed Sami Zayn and Gunther, they booed them lackluster. If they booed or cheered Cody Rhodes, again, not that intense. This was definitely one of the weakest audiences I've seen in quite some time, considering we just came back from Europe and we're going back to the UK. So I should expect to see a nice crowd, a hyped-up crowd for the upcoming Monday Night Raws and SmackDown. But yeah, good start to the match. Of course, after Cody Rhodes had applied a wrist lock on Gunther, took him to the corner, Sami Zayn breaks up the hold, and there's some boos from the crowd. But Sami's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Wade Barrett calls that out. It's these subtle moments, that are making this match that much better. We get a pin attempt from Gunther after a massive chop. Cody, he hits the cutter at one point, switches the momentum, hits the nice RKO power slam. Then Gunther whips Cody to the ropes. Gunther with a hard kick to the leg of Cody. Okay, nice. Look vicious, then right into the figure four. It's a great sequence. Gunther uses the ropes. Sami spots it, gives the 4 count, and then breaks it up. Gunther gets upset about the break. Fights with Sami a little bit, giving Cody the opportunity to hit the roll up. 2 count. Gunther hits, just boots Cody, strikes him down. Then goes back to bickering with Sami. I get what they're trying to do. I don't know if Gunther his character is that foolish to keep returning to the ref. But they're building the story. They're building more tension between Gunther and his selected referee. And we get then a massive clothesline, another pin attempt. Again, going back to fighting with Sami. Cody eventually hits the crossroads, because of how much Gunther is distracted. We almost get a 3 count, but Gunther puts the boot under the rope, just like their last match at Clash in Italy. And this time, Sami Zayn, being the good ref that he is, sees it, tells Cody, hey, boots under the rope. Cody gets a little upset, a little perturbed with Sami. And he starts fighting with him, but then gets in his face. Sami pushes Cody Rhodes right into the clutches of Gunther in a sleeper hold. Okay, Cody gets a hand on the rope. Sami counts 4 count, then grips Gunther's face, almost like a face wrench, or almost close to like a cravat, but not quite on the neck area. Wrenches Gunther right off of Cody. Gunther literally shoves Sami, then pushes his face away, and so Sami Zayn slaps Gunther, okay, much like he had slapped Cody, and Cody had slapped him back. All this is coming together. Then Gunther low blow kicks Sami Zayn, and then hits him with this massive powerbomb. Goes for a clothesline, misses it, and Cody hits the bionic elbow, and then a cutter from the top corner, right? Massive, they called it a super cutter, and a crossroads. Cody calls for a new ref to come out. Ref runs down the ramp, counts only 2 before Gunther lifts his shoulder. Cody goes up top, and Gunther catches him. Gunther hits the shotgun drop kick after Cody leaps off the top of trying to do something, and Gunther hits a massive power bomb, almost seemingly a 3 count. But Sami pulls the second ref out of the ring, starts pointing to his shirt like he's still repping his authority. And I thought he was going to just disqualify Gunther at this point, but no, he goes back in the ring. Cody, meanwhile, attempts a sunset flip. Gunther's holding onto the rope, so I like this. Sami kicks Gunther's hands off the rope, thereby allowing Cody to execute the sunset flip, pin, and Sami counts a very fast 1, 2, 3. Now, Cody's defeated Gunther 3 times, right? Of course, I'm going to get to the rest of this if you know what's coming. This one's a result of Sami Zayn, though. Gunther, not to our surprise, he's irate in the ring. This sets up, again, already, if it hasn't already done so, sets up a triple threat at Night of Champions. And we'll talk about the question of who wins. But in the back, it's not over. The match is not over. We get fighting among Gunther, Cody, Nick Aldis, trying to calm them down. At one point, Sami comes in saying, this is, I wasn't even trying to get involved. I did everything right as a ref. At one point, Cody says, we need an official ref. We need an appropriate ref to start this matchup. Gunther's all for it. Sami's like, no, I'm the real ref. It's funny how he just keeps leaning into this referee role. Gunther attacks Sami, just lays him out, and then Cody runs into the ring, gets on a mic, says, hey, let's start this match up. Let's get a ref in the ring. Gunther soon follows. They start this match. They mainly just exchange sleeper holds. Okay, it was kind of ridiculous. Until they're in the corner, and eventually Sami Zayn runs out into the ring and just hits a heavy haluva kick, nailing Gunther, okay, which completely causes the ref to ring the bell and disqualify. Technically, Cody, I guess, lost this match then, but it doesn't really matter now. Cody's trying to, Sami's still attacking Gunther. Cody's trying to pull Sami. Sami has the WWE title in his hand. He strikes Cody with the championship and walks out of the ring, walks down the ramp, and leaves. Again, if the end of the initial ending to the match didn't start a triple threat setup for the triple threat, then this sure as hell did. It's so clear at this point, and obviously by the end of tonight, the triple threat is official. In the back, Gunther shouting at Aldis, zweimal, 2 times to Nick Aldis. You are not fit to do your job. Give me another match with Cody. Do your job. Also backstage, Sami Zayn insists, I never wanted this, and I called it right down the middle, adding that he didn't ask to be in the middle of this situation, but he's not going away that easy. Cody Rhodes talking to Nick Aldis, saying, hey, I want them both. And so Let's make it a triple threat at Night of Champions. Aldis makes it official, and here we are. Okay, so where are we going with this? That's the question, is who's going to win? Now, it's anybody's guess, but I will say this. If Gunther is not due for a win over Cody now, I mean, I get it. It was the disqualification technically as a win, but he really does need a win. A pinfall over Cody Rhodes. Essentially, the symbolism behind all of it is that Cody just seems to have Gunther's number, and that shouldn't be the case. I think Gunther is so overdue for a WWE title. However, Sami Zayn is even more overdue for a world title. They're going to be, where better for him to win it than in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He speaks the Arabiya. He is very much loved there. So yeah, that's where I'm going with this. I have a very strong feeling either way that Cody is not walking away with this title. They could do the safe bet, take it to SummerSlam and have Cody, even face Jey Uso, or, well, we'll talk more about the Femi Jey Uso situation, but it would be an easy match setup for Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. I don't think anybody really wants to see it. I think we're starting to cozy up to it. Jey Uso's got so much spotlight. He still works great with the crowds. He's got so much intensity on the mic. He's just more of the same. And we don't believe that Jey Uso is a world heavyweight champion. It's just the case right now. You got to do something else to get him back to that level. But right now he's kind of plateaued. He's just kind of that guy that we love to see. We love to see his matches, which we'll talk more about him versus Javon Evans. But yeah, it's not really buying him winning the WWE Championship. We see a little segment with Jade Cargill calling out Tiffany Stratton, talking about costing her the Fatal 4-Way opening round match, and then wants to challenge Tiffany Stratton for the U.S. title. Great. Talks about mentioning Rhea Ripley, attacking her, at least injuring Rhea Ripley as a result of all this, which will play into the end of this night, where she will attack Charlotte Flair. But yeah, that's great. I hope that this works out. If Jade Cargill certainly will do better with a mid-card title than a heavyweight title. She held the AEW TNT title for so long, and it just felt right with her. And Tiffany Stratton, she's a great worker. If anyone's going to get the best out of Jade Cargill, it's her. I've seen it with Rhea Ripley. I could see it with Tiffany Stratton. So looking forward to that. Otherwise, the storyline-wise, I could care less. But the match and where they're going with Jade, I'm all for it. We get the Bloodline. In the locker room, Fatu approaches Solo, telling him that no one gets involved in this Jey Uso, Javon Evans semifinals match. And also, Uso are running out of time to make the right choice. Solo is like, what the hell does that mean? Fatu says, take it how you want to take it. It's up to you. He walks away. Tonga shows up with Talla, and Solo. Tama's like, what the hell is that all about? Solo's like, don't worry about that. Right now we take the tag titles tonight. All right, we do it together. He keeps stressing this idea we're staying together on all this. But Tama directs Solo. Nah, man, you stay back. You have family business that seems to follow you around. Solo tries to contest the decision, but then Tonga, a.k.a. Hikuleo, interjects and says the Bloodline is not our problem. The tag titles are all that matter. Okay? Tama taps Talla as a sign to let's go. He's directing Tonga. Solo's not in charge. Solo has lost all control of this. And therefore, the My Family tree is starting to wither. The seeds have been planted, okay, for the withering of the My Family tree. Okay? My Family tree. I'm just hoping to goodness that they push this to result in Tama and Talla leaving. Best case scenario, they bring back in Tongaloa, and we start the Guerrillas of Destiny. All right. Get a Blake Monroe segment. Apparently she had called out Julia. Great. I love Julia in the ring, and she's getting better and better on the mic. I see it. She's primed for a program. So I hope to see Blake Monroe actually come out into the ring and start something with her and start a program. So we get the Tag Team Championship match soon after, right? MFTs versus Priest and R-Truth. It was a decent match. One thing I will say is just go and watch R-Truth perform. He's 53 years old. He's the oldest wrestler on the roster right now. It's pretty amazing to see him work in the ring. But one of the most important points of this was that Solo Sikoa trying to get involved, okay, trying to help out. Talla Tonga, he's approaching Solo Sikoa outside of the ring, telling him, hey, you're not supposed to be here. Out of nowhere, Damian Priest tries to strike, and Solo pushes Talla Tonga out of the way, takes the hit, okay? Meanwhile, R-Truth and Tama Tonga are in the ring, okay? And Talla can't focus on that. So R-Truth takes advantage and gets a cover-up, does a roll-up and wins. So whether or not Solo's intentions were good, he basically costed the distraction, costed the match for the MFTs. Again, planting the seeds. Kept saying, I want to do this together, I want to do this together. He's like, they're more and more. He's getting desperate. He wants to show the MFTs that he is still leading a group outside of the Bloodlines. The Bloodlines are getting in his head, and he will approach Jacob Fatu on that matter later in the night. So we get a build-up for Javon Evans versus Jey Uso. Javon calls Jey Unk. All seemed to be well until you made that comment calling him Unk, signifying that he's old school. He's a little bit, past his prime. Jey Uso said something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm not gonna be your uncle. I'm gonna be your father by the end of this." Anyways, we get the match between Ricky Saints and Carmelo Hayes. The match was good for what it was. I felt like it was like going 15 to 17 minutes when it probably went something like 10 minutes. There was one moment where Ricky Saints, he was clearly trying to be the heel, pulling like fast moves, pulls the turnbuckle off the turnbuckle pad off the corner. At one point he tries to pin Carmelo Hayes with a handful of tights, and the ref catches that. Hayes does hit his first 48 finisher, but Saints kicks out, and then sends Carmelo Hayes into an exposed turnbuckle, knocks him out, and then secures the win. Now we're going to see Ricky Saints versus Trick Williams at Night of Champions for the United States Championship. Most of us, I would say, would agree that Carmelo Hayes should be in that spot. This does make things a little bit interesting because we weren't expecting Ricky Saints. I would like to see a match. I hope they can work a good match together. Ricky works best with someone like a Carmelo Hayes, as does like Trick Williams. So to put those two in the ring, we'll see. I could still see something like Carmelo Hayes getting involved in this match. It would be great if they could have a triple threat, but I think we already have a triple threat on the card. So that's about does it. But yeah, hope to see. I'd like to see Carmelo Hayes, get pushed back into that U.S. title picture. And Ricky, he's great at what he does. He's great on the mic. He's entertaining, but not so much looking forward or looking to see him win the U.S. title. I could be wrong. I say it like that, and then I get a sense that, who knows? Ricky Saints might walk away with the U.S. title. Probably not, though. Probably not. I think he's going to take the L. And that's why he's in the position he's in. And meanwhile, Carmelo Hayes can't really afford to take another L. Okay, it's at this point that we start to see just more and more ads. And I'm telling you, the WWE's really got to kill this attitude era. It's too much. I get it. You're trying to make your money back, but geez, your product is drowning in a sea of advertisements and just bullshit promos. We get a comedy segment about Danhausen. Really wasn't interested. Really wasn't paying attention at this point. We get Jey Uso versus Javon Evans. I will say that it was good for what it was. I think Javon Evans is such a great competitor. Works really well with Jey Uso. Comes out with that 6'7" shirt. I don't know. He's just really trying to push that young OG gimmick. At one point, this is the only thing about this match. I'd say go and watch this match. It was good. But one thing was weird. Jey Uso falls over. Almost looked like he was mocking Javon Evans. But I guess he was. And then he was really selling it. But that looked weird. If you caught that, you know what I mean. Nevertheless, this ended in Jey Uso winning. And then the backstage with Rhodes leading up to the official announcement of the triple threat. And then we get the moment in which, we get the moment of Charlotte Flair. She's about to go out in the ring, and she gets dropped by Jade Cargill and the baddies. B-Fab, Michin. She could barely walk because she's been kicked in the leg by Jade Cargill. All going in full circle. Jade Cargill wants to take on this role of attacking and injuring wrestlers like Rhea Ripley. Morgan, essentially, what I really liked about this was that Charlotte Flair really did sell the leg, but at the same time was fighting. At one point, she was outside of the ring. I really liked this moment. She is being told by Aldis, by another random dude, and by Alexa Bliss, you don't have to do this. Charlotte Flair looks at one dude, the random dude's like, I don't give up, bitch. That could be a catchphrase for Charlotte Flair. I don't give up, bitch. Great catchphrase for Charlotte Flair. Use it. But anyways, at the end of this, she gets put in a submission where Liv Morgan is wrenching the knees, and she's tapping. But it almost looked like she was trying to just tap to find Liv. I will always mix up Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan. Looking to grab Liv Morgan's hair. So it almost looked like she was trying to pull the hair, which would be a nice counter or a nice reversal. But no, the ref calls it. Match is over. She's out. Liv Morgan, we got a great shot of Liv Morgan literally leaning up against Charlotte Flair with the title. Definitely curious. I'm worried now. I want to see Io Sky make it to the finals, but something tells me that Bliss is going to go all the way. Because what makes, if Io Sky wins, she essentially is the world champion. This is so stupid that they pushed. Liv Morgan shouldn't have even been in this tournament. She really shouldn't have. I mean, while yes, it's entertaining to see her do what she's doing, it makes no sense whatsoever. So, this was I remember them saying this was the 1400 SmackDown, and is the location for the same debut episode back in '99. They made references, the announce team, they made references to a championship match between Triple H and The Rock and HBK as Shawn Michaels refereeing that match in comparison to Gunther, Cody Rhodes, and Sami Zayn. I thought that was a nice little spot, little moment, little tidbit. But I'll tell you, go back and watch that first SmackDown. I can tell you, I haven't seen it in a while, but I know already that crowd was so much more amped. I mean, that being 1999 and it being the first SmackDown episode, so much more hyped than what we are. Kansas has gone, it's come a long way down in terms of their audience engagement. I have to say it. And it was probably the worst thing about this whole night. A little bit of the breaks with the SmackDown advertisements and all that stuff. And yeah. I liked the little segment leading up to the main event with Liv Morgan versus Charlotte Flair. Jade Cargill attacking Charlotte. Charlotte looks so good as a face. She really does. Better and better as a face. She's a natural baby face, which is ironic because her father, Ric Flair, is a natural heel. But and all this time they tried to push Flair as a heel, and she came off, inorganic. She got the go-away heat as far as I'm concerned, and I did not enjoy her playing the heel. I enjoy her playing the babyface. So, well, that about wraps it up. If you haven't done so already, hit that like and subscribe button. At Channel Cortez 33 on Instagram and Twitter. I'm going to go ahead and do a little small video for Monday Night Raw, a little bit closer till we get to the show. See if anything else comes up, because it's looking bad. They have nothing planned for Monday Night Raw. The only thing I see is Brie Bella and Paige versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyrie. Okay, that should be fun. The Vision, Braun Breaker, and Austin Theory, as I predicted last week, they'll face Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. I'm surprised they haven't brought in Braun Breaker, and eventually Javon Evans, I believe it was. Who was it that speared the hell out of... yes, it was Braun Breaker that he speared. It was Javon Evans after the match with Austin Theory. Yeah. Which made no sense that they even put Javon Evans in that position leading up to a match with Jey Uso. A match of that importance. So yeah, those two matches is all I see. Yeah, hit that like and subscribe button. Maybe add something in the comments. Tell me if there's something else going on Monday Night Raw. And I'll come back probably tonight. Or maybe even still, I might just do a review because it will be in London, so I'll be able to watch it in real time. Maybe I'll do a review right after and tell you my thoughts on the show. Yeah, so nothing's looking that big leading up to it. Anywho, you have a good night. Talk to you soon.